This is a Kickstarter. In the modern era, it's a relic, and on a brand new motocross bike, it's a statement. For years, as every other brand chased magic button starts, lighter weights, and more power, Suzuki has stubbornly refused to update its RMZ lineup. The result is a bike that's become a running joke for its bold new graphics, while its core remains a time capsule from 2018. The question is why? Is Suzuki asleep at the wheel, letting its legacy rust away, or is this the most misunderstood, genius strategy in the entire sport? If you follow motocross, you know the narrative. Every season, Honda, KTM, and all the other OEMs roll out bikes with new frames, new engines, and new electronics. And then there's Suzuki. The 2025 RMZ 250 and RMZ 450 are once again fundamentally the same machines they were in 2019 and 2018. They are the last motocross bikes from a major manufacturer that you still have to kick to life. Now on paper, it looks like a total surrender. The competition is lighter, significantly more powerful, and packed with technology that makes going fast easier than ever. Meanwhile, the RMZ is viewed as heavy, underpowered, and technologically ancient. Its engine, while reliable, gives up crucial horsepower to its rivals. Its chassis, once praised for its cornering, is now often called harsh and rigid enough to make your filings rattle. And that Kickstarter feels like an analog relic in a digital world, especially when you're 3 laps in, gasping for air and trying to bring it back to life. This freeze in development has created a massive divide. Critics see a brand that has simply given up, a cautionary tale of a company losing its way. But a loyal legion of riders and privateers see it differently. They see a hidden brilliance in Suzuki's refusal to join the arms race. So today we're cutting through the noise to figure out what's really going on. Is Suzuki just being stubborn, or are they playing a completely different game? Okay, let's start with the obvious argument. Suzuki has fallen behind, and there's a mountain of evidence to prove it. The most glaring issue is the total lack of innovation. While other brands do complete ground-up redesigns every few years, the RMZ platform has been stagnant. The engines in the 2025 models are basically identical to the ones from 2019 on the 250 and 2018 on the 450. In the hyper-competitive 250 class, this is especially brutal. The RMZ 250 puts out around 39 horsepower while its rivals are pushing toward 45. Then there's the technology gap. Now, I know Suzuki gets a bad rap for this, but it's kind of just a running joke. Every other major brand has made electric start standard. Suzuki keeps defending the Kickstarter by talking about weight savings and simplicity, but the market has clearly moved on. There's nothing worse than stalling in a tight corner, having a full-on cardio session trying to kick a hot 450 back to life, while your competitors just push a button and disappear into the next zip code. And it's not just the starter. The RMZ does not have the fancy engine maps or advanced traction control systems that are now common. It does have a basic launch control system and a tuner app, but they feel like token efforts compared to what the competition offers. This stagnation shows up in pro racing and media shootouts. For years, the RMZ 450 and RMZ 250 have consistently ranked at or near the bottom of the big magazine comparisons. Testers always praise the bike's cornering, but they can't ignore the harsh suspension, lack of power, and overall weight. It's often called a bike with great bones that's being held back by a refusal to modernize. This perception has created a narrative that Suzuki just isn't a serious contender anymore. Many believe that the company has gutted its R&D budget for motocross, especially since other parts of Suzuki's motorcycle division are getting huge updates. DRZ Dual Sport, for instance, just got its first major overhaul in over 2 decades for 2025, complete with fuel injection and ride-by-wire. This proves Suzuki can innovate. They just seem to be choosing not to with their motocross bikes. Almost like the R&D department lost the key to the RMZ office back in 2018. So I asked myself, what if we're looking at this the wrong way? What if this isn't neglect, but a calculated business decision? This is the argument for Suzuki's quiet genius, and it all starts with understanding who the modern RMZ is actually built for. The biggest advantage of Suzuki's strategy is cost. Now, a brand new 2025 RMZ is way less expensive than its competition. I mean, prices have gotten just crazy high. Price is often thousands of dollars lower than a comparable KTM, Husky, or even Yamaha. The value is impossible to ignore. For a privateer racer, a family footing the bill for their kids racing, or just a weekend warrior who wants a solid bike, that price difference is a game changer. It's the difference between buying new or being forced to hunt for something used. Suzuki's unofficial defense of the Kickstarter fits right into this philosophy. It saves weight, reduces complexity, and lowers costs. While their star rider Ken Roczen was spotted testing an electric start prototype, it was reportedly shelved because of reliability issues, allegedly. For the average person buying the bike, the Kickstarter is a dead simple, bulletproof system. There's no battery, no complex wiring harness, and no starter motor, all things that can break and cost a lot to fix. This brings us to the second key point, reliability. The RMZ platform is a tank. The engine and frame have been around for years and their durability is legendary. In a sport that demands constant maintenance and expensive parts, owning a bike with a proven track record is a massive relief. Parts are easy to find, affordable, and interchangeable across several model years. For the rider paying their own bills, that kind of reliability is way more important than extra horsepower they probably aren't skilled enough to use anyway. Finally, there's the performance argument, just from a different angle. RMZ might not win a dyno war, but its power is famously smooth and user-friendly. It has a linear pull that's easy to manage, which makes it less intimidating and less likely to introduce you to the concept of a whiskey throttle at the worst possible moment. And the stiff chassis, it's still praised by almost everyone for its incredible cornering ability. Many riders still feel like it's one of the best handling bikes on the market, able to dive into inside lines and create a route where one didn't even exist. This makes the RMZ a perfect platform. A rider can buy the bike for cheap and use the money they save to customize it exactly how they want it. Whether that's engine work, suspension mods, or even an aftermarket electric start kit, if you're willing to go the extra mile. They get a bike with good bones and the cash left over to build the perfect machine. So, is it stubbornness or genius? The truth is probably somewhere in between. Suzuki has almost certainly stopped playing the same game as the Austrian brands or its Japanese rivals. They are no longer trying to build the lightest, fastest, more technologically advanced bike for a pro-level racer right out of the box. Instead, they seem to have deliberately pivoted to serve a different and often ignored part of the market, the rider on a budget. They're targeting the person who cares more about affordability, reliability, and a solid, predictable chassis than having the absolute latest tech. This is the privateer who needs a bike that won't destroy their bank account to buy or maintain. It's the vet rider who just wants a comfortable, easy to ride machine for the weekend, not a bike that will give him arm pump just rolling it out of the truck. It's a strategy that admits a simple truth. Not every rider needs or even wants an 11,045 horsepower race weapon. Now, is this sustainable? That's the million-dollar question. The motocross market is driven by image and race results, and by letting the RMZ sit, Suzuki risks fading into irrelevance. I'm old enough now to remember the glory days of Suzuki, and I would hate to see them just fade into the mist. The market share has shrunk and you just don't see as many yellow bikes at local tracks anymore, unless it's a perfectly preserved RM250 two-stroke from 2006. However, recent patent filings for an electric RMZ suggest that Suzuki is at least looking forward to the future, even if it's a distant one. Maybe they're just biding their time, waiting for the right moment to jump back into the arms race. For now, there are the undisputed kings of value in motocross. They offer a brand new, capable, and incredibly reliable dirt bike for a price nobody else can touch. It might not have a button, but it definitely has a purpose. In the end, Suzuki's refusal to change its dirt bikes is one of the most polarizing topics in the sport, I know that. On one hand, you've got a machine that feels dated, underpowered, and left in the dust by the competition. On the other, you have an affordable, reliable, and confidence-inspiring bike that serves as a perfect platform for a huge number of riders who feel priced out of the market. It's a bold strategy that flies in the face of everything we think we know about how motocross bikes should evolve. But hey, that's just my take. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Is Suzuki's strategy a brilliant move that serves a real need, or are they just falling hopelessly behind? Is a Kickstarter a total deal breaker for you, or is the value simply too good to pass up? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, it's really polarizing, and I'm excited to see what Suzuki does in the future, and I'm happy they still have the rider in mind. So if you enjoyed the video and the breakdown, do me a favor and hit the like button. Subscribe if you like this content. That just goes beyond the spec sheets. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.